Another aspect that I think is clear in the United States and in Europe is the change in attitudes in our parliaments. And again, in democracies, the parliaments, the legislatures are very important in influencing the overall policies of our individual countries toward China. In the United States, I think we saw something like 400 resolutions over the last 4 years in just in the Trump administration, bills, not necessarily laws that were passed, but bills that were tabled in the Congress that pertain to China, and of course were efforts to put pressure on China. The EU several years ago put forward a three-pronged view or assessment of China, which essentially said that China is a negotiating partner for cooperation, an economic competitor, and a systemic rival. And I think that this sort of multifaceted definition of China meshes very well with the Biden administration's approach. And one of the ways in which the Biden administration has characterized its approach to China is to compete effectively, more effectively than the Trump administration did, to confront where necessary, and to cooperate where our interests converge and where it is in American interests. So I see a lot of parallels between the US and European approach, and I think there's a lot of potential therefore to work together. So this increases the possibility of greater coordination and cooperation between the US and the EU going forward to push back against some of China's policies. Now, I want to emphasize this is not an anti-China alliance, nor should it be seen that way. I don't think that's what the Biden administration is seeking, and I doubt it's what the European Union seeks. The main purpose, I think, really is to defend our shared interests and our values, and I think that's the way that it really should be seen. But there will be competition, I think, and confrontation, as well as cooperation. Surely the United States and the EU won't agree on everything, and that goes without saying. There is greater potential to cooperate in some areas than others. Then I want to say a few things about cooperation, because I think it's high on the agenda of the Biden administration. We've heard quite a lot of discussion about, even during the campaign, about the Democrats putting climate change back on the agenda. And we, of course, have former Secretary of State John Kerry, who's leading that effort in Washington. The EU has issued a global agenda for a revitalized transatlantic partnership that calls for working together, and including to meet the strategic. We've seen that laid out by the EU, and on the U.S. side, there's a document not completely parallel because it was formulated by just only the Republicans, but the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee chair issued a report late last year, which was on transatlantic cooperation on China. We've seen similar statements, of course, by Biden administration officials. But I think both of those reports can give you a sense as to what could be on the agenda for that cooperation. I think some of the shared aims in these reports, again, it's to protect, to defend the integrity of the international order, rule setting, and standard setting. So I see this primarily aimed at protecting, again, our interests and values. And last October, the US and the EU launched a dialogue on China. So that's a new mechanism that I think will be fully utilized by the Biden administration.